Okay, hey, we're gonna make chicken cacciatore. All right, let's do this. Right there, I have an onion and a half that was sweated. In other words, it's not caramelized. It When you sweat a vegetable, it means that you saute it until it begins to turn clear and not brown, not caramelized. Okay, there went some garlic, a whole bunch of it. Here comes some black pepper. That was granulated garlic. If you use fresh, you're going to use about 6 to 8 cloves. Here comes some oregano. It looks like about a tablespoon and a half. Let's see. Here's the salt. And what else is in there? Oh, there's going to be, that looks like about 2 teaspoons. Don't go crazy on the salt because you can't take it back once you put it in there. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes. Now look, don't go crazy on that either because it's going to be too hot. Just put enough in to where it just enhances the flavor a little bit. You know what I mean? I hope you do. All right. Anyway, here we go into the crock pot. I'm doing this in a crock pot, by the way. Okay, now to that, I'm going to add some tomato products. Chopped tomatoes, tomato sauce, and tomato paste. Chopped tomatoes is 2 cans. Tomato sauce is 1 can, and tomato paste is 1 can. Here we go. You know, chicken cacciatore, means hunter in Italian. This is basically the Italian version of a hunter stew. In other words, you could put squirrel, rabbit, pork, you know, any kind of bird, you know, a squab or a squid or whatever they are. I don't know what they're called. But, you know, birds that you shoot out in the forest, you know. So basically, that's how it started. It was a hunter stew. It was the Italian version of a hunter stew. All right, I'm going to put 1 can in of water, and I'm going to stir it up, and I'm going to see what it looks like. Now, listen, I like to make mine thin because I'll show you in the end. I use elbow noodles, and you pour this thin sauce over the elbow noodles, and they absorb the liquid. You know what I mean? They get in the elbow. The sauce gets into the elbow noodles. It's almost like a soup, almost. But you can make it thick. You can do anything you want. That's what's good about cooking, you know. I'm just showing you the basics here. Okay, there's another can. Now, like I said, if you don't want that other can, then don't put it in. Doesn't matter. You could also put in carrots, celery. You could put anything you want in there. That's a good thing is, you know, cooking is about what you like to eat. There's no set recipe for most things. You know, most things you can go crazy and add whatever you want. You know what's really good in here is baby back ribs. I know that sounds crazy, but man, they're really good in tomato sauce. All right, here's 4 pieces of chicken that I browned. This piece here doesn't have any skin on it, and it still browns. You know, it gets nice. So if you don't want the skin, then don't put it in. Now, here's the problem, though. I browned the chicken off way too early. I still have about 2 hours to go on the sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the chicken in the oven. I'm sorry, in the refrigerator. I don't want to let it sit out. So I'll put it in the fridge, and then later on we'll take it out and put it in the sauce. And the chicken has to stay in the sauce approximately 2 hours. Once it starts boiling again, it's 2 hours. All right, here's a handful of parsley. You know, my mom was Italian, and she cooked with neck bones. All right? She cooked sauce. She put it on in the morning and took it off at night. I mean, it boiled all day long. And she used pork neck bones. And I tell you, man, the pork really gives it a good flavor. It really does. You know, so like I'm saying, you could use back ribs. You could probably throw a whole tenderloin in there, a pork tenderloin. And then when it comes out, just slice it like you would normally and pour the tomato sauce over it. I forgot what I was going to say. Well, anyway, the pork is good. The pork is good in tomato sauce. All right. Now I got to let this boil, and then I'm going to add the chicken to it. Now, like I said, it's going to be a couple hours. It took about 6 hours total. Oh, there, I'm going to see if it needs to be adjusted. So, I tasted it, and no, it doesn't need to be adjusted. Everything is right. Now, you know, if you need more salt, you add more salt at this point. If you eat, you know, whatever you need in it, you add it. Okay, now here comes the chicken. You can see it's cold. Okay, I'm going to add the chicken in, and I'm not scraping the fat off of the bottom because that's olive oil. That stuff in the pan there, that yellow stuff, that's olive oil. And you really do want the olive oil flavor in the sauce, you know. Okay, now once it boils again, now we're going to let it go for about 2 hours. It took quite a while to cook it. You know, see, the bad part is, this isn't something you can put on and then go to the store unless you're coming home in 2 hours. You know what I mean? Because you have to add the chicken. Okay, here we go. They're done. I'm going to take them out of there. You could see the elbow noodles right there. Okay? Also, the extra chicken, and I made extra elbow noodles. What I'll do tomorrow is I'll make a chicken salad out of with the noodles, you know, onion, celery, chicken, maybe even a little tomato sauce, some sour cream. You know, it's a good chicken salad. Like I said, I have extra chicken and I have extra noodles, so I always do that. Whenever I make something, I always make, you know, a little bit extra. Okay, let's see now. Now I'm gonna. Don't forget the chicken still has the bone, you know. Okay. You know, you could do this with a chicken breast. You know, just saute it all the way and put it in for 20 minutes at the end. You know, just let it absorb some of the tomato sauce. See, the bad part is chicken, if you leave it in the crock pot too long, it gets kind of dry. So you got to be real careful on how long you leave it in there. This one came out perfect because I didn't, like I said, I didn't walk away from it. You know, I was there the whole time. So, you know, a lot of times I'll put something in a crock pot and I'll go out to the bar. But this one you can't because you have to add the chicken at a later time. Okay, now look, here's green olives. Now again, this is optional. You know, it's whatever you like to eat. You could put potatoes in there, you know, other vegetables. I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever you like to eat. If you use green olives, try to find the small ones. And don't cut them. Just put them in whole. The reason is if you cut them, like the big ones, if you cut them, you're going to lose all the pimentos out of it. All right, now, like I said, this sauce is watery. But the elbow noodles are going to fill up with the liquid. Okay. Also, it takes less time if you want to do this on the stove. You know, I'm doing it in the crock pot, but if you want to do it on the stove, it's a lot less time. Okay, look, take a hoagie roll and cut it down the center. And I bake them, I toast them in the toaster oven. That way they get crisp on the top and the bottom. Of course, there's some granulated garlic on there, on the hoagie. All right, there you go. Now listen, I don't want to hear how much tree bark I'm about to eat when I put this cheese on there. You know, with the cellulose thing, you know. All right, listen. You might be able to find this somewhere else at your local Italian restaurant in town. I don't know. But I do know one thing. You're not going to find it any better than this right here. Okay, I'll see you later. I got to go. I got to eat.